With 7 games left in the 2025 season, the lens sharpens on the playoff picture. Union Omaha sit in the final spot of the top 8, while One Knoxville have their sights set at the top seed. The USL League One on ESPN Plus is presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. Hello and welcome, I'm Ryan Lee. Thanks for joining us, and every team in the league is chasing the postseason. As we look at our Teriyaki Madness standings, the Owls hold on to the 8th and final playoff slots. Tied at 31 points apiece, they have tiebreakers above AV Alta, putting them in the final slot. One Knoxville are in the top 3. However, they are eyeing the #1 seed. Just 4 points back of in-state rivals Chattanooga Red Wolves, who play Spokane Velocity later tonight. Potentially an opportunity for One Knox to make up ground in the top seed race. However, a lot has changed since these two last met a month ago. A lot has shifted, including Omaha clawing their way out of the league's basement. That match was a gritty defensive duel by 2 of the best goalkeepers in USL League One, but it was eventually decided by a 67th minute header goal from Diene, seeing out the 1-0 win. When it was all said and done, that was back in Knoxville before we make the change to Omaha. However, since then, in the last 5 matches, Omaha have been one of the hottest teams in the league. A midweek draw against Spokane followed 4 straight wins. They've scored 15 goals and conceded just 4. A plus 11 goal differential is more than double of the next best team over the last 5 matches. Interim head coach Vincenzo Candela credits the squad's attacking intensity in training that has led for game day excellence. He's noticed that the group is also pushing towards a full potential that they still have yet to reach. And one of the key cogs in the rise has been our player to watch, the 18-year-old Academy product Mark Bronick. Since becoming a regular starter in August, he's netted 5 goals in the last 7 matches. Coach Candela noticed the promise back in the preseason from last year. And now in year number 2, Bronick has added a new wrinkle to an Omaha attack. They'll need to break down one of the toughest defenses in USL League One in One Knoxville. Since entering the league in 2023, they've been one of the stingiest defenses, including this year. Their 20 goals are the fewest across USL League One, backstopped by 2-time first-team All-League One Jordan Skelton and 2-time Golden Glove winner Sean Lewis. It's been a lockdown unit that make you try to break them down game over game, and one of the toughest teams to do so. With Ian Fuller adding a new offensive wrinkle, they become a top 3 unit that have their eyes set at the top of the USL League One table. 2 teams in the chase with 7 seasons remaining in the season. Knoxville look at the top of the table, while Omaha look to stay in the top 8. Lineups and kickoff from Warner Park coming up next.
Mi nombre es Josué Aaron Gómez y soy del Paso, Texas. Creo que significaría mucho para mí, para mi futuro. Creo que al terminar mi carrera futbolística, creo que poder implementar lo que voy a aprender en la escuela, creo que eso va a ser muy importante para mí y para mi futuro.
It's an age-old tradition, sneaking a taste before it's ready to serve. But when you see the finest reserve label, you just can't help yourself. Because you know an immersive, unexpected flavor experience awaits. The passion and the creativity are felt and tasted in every bite, twisting contemporary cuisine in satisfying new ways. It makes it almost impossible not to want to taste it before the meal. Finest Reserve. Every flavor tells a story.
To be a part of Nebraska Medicine.
Hi, welcome.
Good to see you.
Is to be a part of something extraordinary.
Nebraska Medicine, how may I help you?
Because these are the doors.
How are you?
That open doors.
That went really well.
To growth
Hey.
and opportunity for each other and for our community. For those who know that the academic experience,
You know what? I agree.
the life experience that you get here is beyond what you can get anywhere
Doing
else.
great.
And that's exactly why here is where you belong. Nebraska Medicine. Together, extraordinary.
We make our way to Warner Park, where it's a chase into the top 8. Omaha look to stay above the playoff line, while Knoxville have their sights set on the #1 seed in USL League One. As we make our way to Warner Park, and we look at our starting lineups brought to you by Rotella's Bakery. For Union Omaha, making 5 changes since their matches against Spokane. First-year Owls, Ors Navarro and Batella Foz are the attacking duo, with Ors Navarro coming off of a game-tying brace against Spokane. Kasim's in the midfield, has been out the last month. Akoff and Coleman joined the defense, 2 veterans having to protect Rashid Nuhu. As for One Knox, they've made a pair of changes, with both of these men coming off of injury. Mark Doyle, only in his 3rd appearance since his return from injury, and Jaheim Brown has missed the last 3. He returns as the starting right back, helping Richie Skelton Haugley in front of Sean Lewis. We make our way at center of Warner Park, where Union Omaha have been one of the hottest teams in the league, with wins in 4 of the last 5. While One Knox, they have points in 3 of the last 4. As we begin here at Warner Park in Papillion, Nebraska, number 8 seeded Union Omaha look to stay above the playoff line. While One Knox are only 4 points back of the top seeded Chattanooga Red Wolves, they can climb within a single point if they can get the 3 points themselves. Ryan Lee and our entire ESPN Plus crew, we thank you for joining us for one of the most tightly contested matchups in USL League One on the Sunday slate. A lot of playoff implications can come depending on how things pan out for the next 90 minutes, as Prosper Kasim almost got the turnover and is launched back towards Rashid Nuhu. Union Omaha coming off of 5 consecutive unbeaten since their loss to One Knox in the midpoint of August on the 16th. 4 wins and a draw in that stretch. The only draw was the last time out against Spokane Velocity 2-all. As Diene Akoff takes it near side, trying to pitch it in centrally, but disrupted by Richie. Returns to Omaha. Toss in, deflected. Kasim can't get it through. It's cleaned up by Kelly. Back towards Knoxville's box, it will be held on by Sean Lewis. One of the most staggering matchups in this match between Omaha and Knoxville is the goalie duel between Sean Lewis and Rashid Nuhu, 2 of the top in USL League One, backstopping 2 of the best defenses over the last several years in USL League One for Rashid Nuhu. 6 years with Union Omaha, has been a staple. He's the one that has led the way as the primary captain all year long. Lewis, part of the leadership council of One Knox, but also has been stellar since joining the inaugural Knoxville squad back in 2023. As Akoff is off to the races, attempting to centralize, can't get it through as it's ricocheted up and touched up by Skelton. No one can clean it up. Ostrom racing back, maintaining possession for Omaha. Schneider and Omaha in the black and green stripes. They operate left to right in the first set of 45, while Knoxville will be in the all-white, right to left they go. Relatively calm 80-degree day here in Papillion, Nebraska, but there could be chances of precipitation towards the end of the game. Per all the weather reports, only 3% of precipitation expected at the time of kickoff. However, that rises significantly to about 35 to 40% once we get to a good chunk into the second half, right around the 6 o'clock local time, or 7 o'clock Eastern, depending on where you're watching this match from. It's a battle of strength on strength here in Papillion with Union Omaha, especially over the last several matches. A real offensive onslaught of games over the last 5 for Omaha. Put them into the number 2 category in USL League One, only trailing the Charlotte Independents by a singular goal. 38, Charlotte leads the entire league. Second is Omaha, 37, versus a very stifling One Knoxville unit who are allowing the fewest goals in the league with 20, tied with the other 2 teams in the top 3 between Chattanooga Red Wolves and Spokane Velocity. Ritchie working the wing towards Doyle as Diene can't get the return feed. We take our first look at Vincenzo Candela, only 12 matches into his interim stint since his first match back on July 12th in Charlotte, and it's gone a long way since then. Coach Candela, 6-3-2 are Omaha under his tutelage. A lot of that with his overall understanding of the scheme and what the players are best at, considering he was an assistant with Dom Casciato for the last year and a half. As this is rolled in from deep by Mikael Goling, but straight to Rashid Nuhu. Very veteran defensive unit mixed with a lot of youth, with the two early 20-somethings in Charlie Osham and Sam Owusu, with the two 30-somethings on the defensive line with Dion Akoff and Coleman, as Akoff alone near side. Leaves it, Kasim towards goal, push it by Lewis, rebound, scores! Sergio Ors Navarro, he's surgical once again, gets the opening goal for Omaha, just over 5 minutes in. Sergio Ors Navarro, what a roll he's been on. Got a brace after the 88th minute against Spokane Velocity. That puts him at 3 goals in 7 game minutes, not including stoppage time. And the Spanish forward has been fantastic, as that's our first goal brought to you by Hurrdat Sports Bar. And for Union Omaha, that goal ties Charlotte Independence at the top of the league for the most goals scored across USL League One. And one of the key pieces has been a lot of new guys in the lineup. We mentioned it in the lineups: Pato Patelofaz, Sergio Ors Navarro, a pair of 2 first-year Owls leading the 4-4-2 for Vincenzo Candela, and the results only 5.5 minutes in, paying off humongously as Omaha already retake possession with Prosper Kasim. Union Omaha, they are a team that can not only take control over game, but they are also a team that can put a chokehold on you quickly, something that has been a little bit different since their squads of last year, especially with not only what it's been doing, but how it's been done. When talking to Vincenzo Candela earlier in the week, he talked about how last year's squad, it was a lot of guys who just wanted to have that overall dominance and wanted to really put their stamp on the league, making sure they're dominant on both ends of the pitch. For this one, it's been a lot of freedom, creativity. Knoxville trying to do so, but Stuart Ritchie straight into the hands of Nuhu. Whistle down right towards the center circle. This will be our first opportunity to introduce our officiating crew. They'll be in the blue for today's match, as Ben Meyer leads the way with AJ Franklin and Carsa Fritzell Thomas as the assistant referees. Jacob Larson is the 4th official for our match. And this will be an opportunity for both teams who could potentially get a lot of whistles against them. These two are 2 of the top 5 teams in terms of getting the whistles against them. Knoxville have the 2nd most fouls, Omaha in 4th. However, don't do so egregiously, because they're also amongst 2 of the teams who get the least yellow cards of anyone in the league. So there could be a lot of whistles, but for both squads, it hasn't led to any sort of egregious nature or not a lot of bookings for either squad. And that'll only benefit them in the long run, especially because in the last couple of matches, they've dropped results and they've had points hanging in the balance due to players receiving double yellows, and has allowed both teams to drop points at various points in the year. Only 2 for either, but still matters regardless. Richie down the line, taken down as Doyle hits the deck. USL on CBS SN closes out September with a championship Western Conference showdown of teams in the thick of the playoff hunt. New Mexico United take on Lexington in a battle for a valuable set of points on Sunday, September the 28th at 6 Eastern on CBS SN. That is a month from today for anyone who might not have their calendars out. Kasim with the takeaway. Akoff retreats as he has help from Owusu. Stolen back, Callum Johnson looking to start. Not quite precise enough for Babacar Diene, so it's back the other way for Omaha. One Knoxville very much in the thick of the race for the #1 seed. They sit 4 points outside of the top slot, occupied by their in-state rivals, the Chattanooga Red Wolves, who they actually will go up against each other back at Covenant Health Park to begin October. And we just noted in the opening that Ian Fuller's side, they also had a 1-0 win last couple times out at the end of August against Spokane Velocity, where they took the 1-0 win there. So not only opportunities for them to get the points they need to climb the tables, but also head-to-heads against the teams they're going up against. Akoff working his way up the gut. He drives it and touched by Lewis and out. Ricocheted off of Sean Lewis and might have just clipped him, might have been off completely. Referee signals goal kick. It looked like Lewis might have gotten a piece of it, but regardless, it will go back to Knoxville, and last line of defense holding up for 1 Knox. Veteran goalkeeper, 9 seasons in professional soccer, all of them in the USL, either in the Championship or League One. Of all goalkeepers who have at least 15 stars to their name, Sean Lewis has the second best goal save percentage and one of the best goals against average across all goalies in USL League One history. And the consistency and the pace he has done at is even more staggering. While Joe Rice is one of the top at saving shots, he has only half the number of games played as Sean Lewis, with only a 2% difference between the two of them, between Lewis and Rice. 76% and 74% respectively. One of the biggest surprises, Jason Smith of Chattanooga has already built his way up to 3rd on that list, as this one is launched far side, held on Bronick. Lays it off, Ostrom to center, in the air, Kasim, swing and a miss. Doyle racing back as Richie lets it fly. Diene looks to start the turnaround for Knoxville. Akoff stifling the escape for 1 Knox. Charlie Ostrom, one of the best setup men in the league, trying to work off the line, settled. Batella Foz can't escape, slides it back. Can't get to Schneider before it's cut off by Johnson, but it will remain with Omaha. A very backloaded schedule for both Omaha and Knoxville, as this one's launched towards goal but missed entirely. Nice try from deep as that clipped the head of Pato Botello Foz from the wide angle try by Bronick. Turnover in front. Ors Navarro's got a brace. He's done it again. A brace and back-to-back. Sergio Ors Navarro doubles the lead for Omaha. A very rare mistake from one Knox as Ors Navarro, full pursuit on Sievert Haugli, got the strip. Lewis didn't see it coming, and Ors Navarro right there on the money. Another goal presented by Herdat Sports Bar, and he has been in excellent form, Ors Navarro. 5 goal contributions in the last 4 matches, including 4 goals. And Union Omaha, as well as Sergio Ors Navarro, they can score in bunches. We mentioned the last match against Spokane. They scored 2 goals to reclaim the tying point. Both of those goals came after the 88th minute from Sergio Ors Navarro. Now he's got 2, 9 minutes separated in the opening 15. Omaha already back in possession with Charlie Ostrom at the center circle. Coleman helps out with Knapp. All the bounces have gone Omaha's way. Here's Ostrom trying the cross. Lets it go, and it's saved by Lewis. Ritchie hesitates, Akoff to center, dropped, Kasim holds, fires, ricochets off of Lewis and out. Sean Lewis with the save off of the deflection in front. This will give Omaha the first corner of the match, but a great run in transition for the Owls as they continue to pepper Sean Lewis. Only 16 minutes into the match, already dealing with 3 shots on target. That was the latest from Prosper Kasim, looking for his 2nd goal since the end of August, but this will put Charlie Ostrom on the flag for the first Modelo corner kick. Low driver, rebound, can't get there. Schneider the last touch, and we go again. Only 1 loss for Omaha in the last 8. That was that August 16th match against Knoxville as we go back-to-back Modelo corner kicks. High drive, chop down, rebound, flutters, out of play. So much opportunity for Union Omaha in this opening 18 minutes of the match. They are peppering Sean Lewis and this one Knox side. Already 6 shots with 5 on target compared to the lone attempt that one Knox have had. A very stingy defensive team are one Knox. However, they are a team that can get offensive opportunities. They're actually in the top 5 of most shots attempted. But they'll have to deal with a couple more as Prosper Kasim chasing down Stuart Ritchie. Schneider circles back to Coleman. Osham around Rosamilia, launching into the box, but no one in black to receive. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on Diene, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches will be available in Spanish throughout the remainder of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. mentioned just then how Knoxville, they're a team that can generate a lot of offensive opportunity. However, they're a team that has also struggled to complete them. Despite being top 5 in shots attempted and key chances, they also are second to last in the league in terms of total goals scored. Only above forward Madison, a team who has very much struggled to score goals, but for Madison, it's been their undoing as they're still behind the playoff line. Knoxville have just been able to find it in any way, shape, and form, and they might be giving up another one after Stuart Ritchie took the foul at the center circle. Owusu and Coleman trying to spring forward, but that goes over the head of Pato Batella-Faz. Jaheim Brown can't make his way to Rosamilia, so it's a turnover. Schneider can't find a target. Kelly works with Diene. Still on his feet, taken down from behind, and this will draw the first booking of the match. Max Schneider, he is a frequent visitor of the book. His 12 yellow cards are the most in USL League One, and he is guilty once more. It was that second chance, a couple of touches from behind on Babacar Diene, who had not been for the palm of Schneider, might have had a chance to break free. But this will be a really nice opportunity for Callum Johnson, who is the lone man on the ball. Stuart Ritchie is the close option. But what it does do is potentially open the door for One Knox to get more than just the one-shot attempt they've mustered up in 21 minutes. Johnson to take. Scooped in the box, headed, but missed. Whole bunch of white jerseys inside of 12 yards. However, none of them were able to get it within frame. Last throw and could maybe give an opportunity for One Knox to pressure up high, something that Vincenzo Candela noted in this head-to-head with One Knox, just talking about how they'll have to deal with the pressure that One Knox are very good at dealing with, especially having to be sharp on the details, especially with what they can do in terms of being able to slow you down at many points, because they're able to just congest not only passing lanes but shooting lanes. And so far, both of the goals that have been scored by Omaha predominantly coming off of Knoxville miscues. Ritchie cut down by Batella-Faz. Return possession to Knoxville. We mentioned it in the open how Knoxville, they were at the bottom of the table right before they took on Knoxville last time out in the early portion of August. And that last Knoxville match was part of their climb out of the bottom of the league standings, as Dion Akoff gets the turnover and he's home free. Dion Akoff, he's free, tries to center, blocked out of play. This will be another corner for Union Omaha. Another Modelo corner kick for Union Omaha. They've already got 3 and the ability to not only succeed at gaining set-piece opportunities, but also executing, and if not getting them on frame, getting them behind the respective goalkeepers has been part of the success over the last couple games. As Ostrom's in, headed away, that was Skelton, as it's another try blocked. Kasim. Return for Ostrom, Schneider along the line. He clips it up, but it's away from Brown. Another try towards goal and missed. Heavy opportunities from both sides, as Mark Bronick has been one of the key pieces for the Owls since becoming more of a regular in the starting lineup over the last couple of months. Only had one start of the season in the first 5 months. If you go across from March to the beginning of August, he only had a singular start. That was in a May match on the road in Madison. However, since the start of August, he's had 8 starts and has been stellar. And Max Schneider needs to be careful. He cut down Mikael Goling, and he's already on a yellow card already. Goling back on his feet for the first-year pro, spending the last 2 years with University of Cal Santa Barbara, and that was after he transferred from Young Harris, where across his 4 years in the NCAA, he was a first-team all-conference in both the Big West and the Peach Belt, giving him looks with his first professional contract with One Knox. Johnson to serve again. This one ricochets off the head of Haugley as it's Kelly in the corner. Ritchie returns for Brown. Kelly in pursuit, however, too much juice on the attempted pass. Minutes remain in this opening half between One Knox and Union Omaha. I have a late discussion here between our head official and the Omaha captain, Rashid Nuhu. Doyle the head, can't connect to Diene. Goling wraps his man down, and just a minute ago we saw Schneider take Goling down. This time it's the reverse, and Goling will be guilty of a yellow card for the first time, presented by Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas, as that really doesn't have a question about it. You saw the hook on Schneider's right arm. It's the first time that we've seen One Knox get booked. Presented by Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas. Union Omaha, one of the best home field advantages across all of USL League One, especially for the backloaded schedule that the Owls had, because they had so many of their matches on the road to start off the season. Player down again, Goling trying to get back on his feet. Kasim turns it over. Omaha trying to get it back to center so they can start another potential attack. However, Kasim with the last contact. At least it looked like it. Didn't actually contact regardless. Half an hour in of a 2-0 match. Sergio Orr's Navarro with a brace. Goals in the 15th and 6th minutes of this match. And what a run it was for Orr's Navarro, as we have a quick discussion here with our head official, Ian Fuller, who is actually coming back from red card suspension. He was not available against AV Alta. He gets another yellow card here, does Fuller. Assistant coach Ilya Illich actually was the acting manager when Omaha was in Lancaster last time out, and with Fuller and the overall performance of the AV Alta match, just talked about how there's a lot of confidence in not only himself and the players because they have someone who has been there with the organization. It was the interim last year after Mark McKeever departed the club, and remains as an assistant with Ian Fuller's team, especially because it allows an easy understanding of what the club needs and a combination of what Coach Fuller's vision is. You have that collaboration of what worked over the first 2 years with Ilya Illich, both on the pitch and on the sideline. You add in some of the new, fresh ideas that Ian Fuller has brought in since being hired as the head man for One Knox in this past offseason. Diene can't beat his man out, so it is Brown back first. Coleman reads the play. Kept alive by Brown. Rosamilia ensuring that that ball remains with One Knox. Knoxville almost got free. They're trying to make their way back up. Brown skies it. Ritchie on the chase, and it'll stay with One Knox on the throw. Doyle. Ritchie comes in. Header was missed. Golding was attempting to come in. It was just above his head, so it's Sievert Haugley back at center. Ritchie works the wing with Doyle. Diene fans it out. Ritchie and Akoff against each other towards the box. Ahead of Golding again. Ritchie recovers the rebound. Ritchie and Akoff, they've been scrapping all game. No change here as Angelo Kelly makes his way into the box. Kelly around Schneider, gets taken down, and it's a Knoxville penalty. Schneider in foul trouble once again, already on a yellow, now giving Knoxville a chance from the dot. And this might be a golden opportunity for One Knox to make their way back into this match. As you saw, that foul on the slide by Schneider. Got his back foot, got the kick on the back of Kelly's calves. And this opens the window for One Knoxville. It is one of the top goalkeepers in USL League One, Rashid Nuhu. He goes up against the leading goal scorer for One Knox in Babacar Diene. 5 goals in the regular season, 8 across all competitions in 30 total matches. In his first season with Knoxville, after spending time last year in the USL Championship with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, scored the game winner the last time these two faced off. However, that was in the realm of play. He gets a chance to cut the deficit in half on Nuhu from the dot. Diene on Nuhu. Diene does it. Knoxville pull one back. It's now 2-1 with 10 minutes to go in the opening half. It was the foul by Schneider. He got the contact on Kelly's calf that took him down. And Diene right down the middle, no doubt about it, increasing a team lead. 6 goals on the season. That's goals in back-to-back games against Union Omaha across the 2 matches this year. And we have a brand new ball game. Babacar Diene from the dot puts this game at 2-1 with 10 minutes remaining in the opening half, as all goals are presented by Herdot Sports Bar. Omaha looking to reclaim the 2-goal lead with Diene Akoff working near side. He's got Brandon Knapp. Return to Akoff. Intervened by Brown, kept alive by Omaha, but only a goal kick to Sean Lewis. Fuller in this One Knoxville squad. They've really been working things up, especially from a bit of an identity shift since a year ago, trying to really pack on the offense as Rosamilia cuts his man down. Full 2-handed shove from Nico Rosamilia. 23-year-old Roseland, New Jersey native coming from One Knox after 4 years with Rutgers. Very prominent in the Big Ten a year ago and the 3 prior, but didn't really start making the best of his impact until his final 2 years with the Scarlet Knights. Kelly scoops it. Owusu right to Doyle. Mark Doyle's got Kelly for help. Kelly drew the penalty that put Diene on the dot to give Knoxville their first. However, the attempted back heel straight to Prosper Kassim. Schneider down the middle, took contact right at the center circle, and now Callum Johnson joins the book. We've seen Schneider get in trouble at points, but now he's the one causing it, especially because he has so much offensive potential from the midfield slot. Coming off of a 2-assist, 1-goal game against Texoma at the beginning of the month that got him part of the team of the week in week 27. He was chopped down from Callum Johnson. And that was the second time that we've seen the yellow cards presented by Alamo Drafthouse. Ostrom works on a double team. But nothing able to go, except it did clip off of one of those two, Jaheim Brown, for another Modelo corner kick for Union Omaha. They've got 4. Well, Knoxville still have yet to take a service from the flag. Very slight breeze here in Papillion going away from us as Ostrom, low driver, took contact off of Schneider. Wanted a handball, would have been justified, but no whistle called as there was a jumble up in the box. And the takedown will not only put Stuart Ritchie in the book, it will give Omaha a free kick just outside the penalty area. That's 3 yellow cards from Knoxville in the past dozen minutes. Bit of late contact as you had the player coming across for Omaha. It's another yellow card presented by Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas. And we've seen how surgical Omaha can be on the set pieces. Charlie Ostrom appears to be the lone man back. You do have Kasim and Knapp as the short options. However, Kasim will join the line. Ostrom, high and out of play as that was a header for Brown. It's the 5th time for Union Omaha. 5th time for Modelo. Ostrom. Punched out by the wall of white. Kasim is back. Can't get by Haugley. Trying to elevate for Diene. Actually went off the face of the one Knox player inadvertently as Callum Johnson goes down to grass. That was inadvertent contact at best. Kasim trying to just launch it up the field, and the ricochet takes it off of Johnson in the face. Despite the potential of the defensive battle, the offensive have been flowing, but if you want any 2 goalkeepers that can keep you in any single match, look no further than the 2 in this match between Rashid Nuhu and Sean Lewis. So much experience between these 2. If you pretty much had to draft a goalkeeper in USL League One, these 2 would be towards the top of the list. 16 total seasons, over 150 starts, 50 wins between them. The last 4 Golden Gloves have gone to either Rashid Nuhu or Sean Lewis. Lewis leading a top contender, Nuhu leading the reigning champs. The last 3 times these teams have met, at least one of them have kept a clean sheet. Although that might not be the deal for today. In August, Knoxville got the best of Omaha for the first time, but Omaha lead the head-to-head with 3 wins and a draw in the first ever meeting. If Knoxville can make their way out of the gap and get the full 3 points, they're within reach of their in-state neighbors, Chattanooga. If Omaha can hold on to the lead, they are no longer the last team in. They could jump up to 5th, overtaking Portland Hearts of Pine and the Charlotte Independents. Final minute of the opening 45. 2-1 Omaha leads on 1 Knox. Sergio Orr's Navarro in the 6th and 15th. Babacar Diene at the 36th off the penalty kick. back towards Haugli and Skelton. Ricochet from Richie makes its way to goalie. Johnson. Took a whack from Brandon Knapp. And with a couple of injury stoppages in the realm of play and a penalty in the mix, stoppage time lengthy at 6 minutes. Angelo Kelly trying to make his way through, but the barrage of black prevents him from going any further. Akoff boots it up for Ors Navarro. Haugli will only stall progress. Knox trying to deal with the overall up and downs that have been the results as of late. 2 wins, a draw, and a loss across the last 4, including a win and a loss across the last 2, both on the road. Loss in Tormenta and a win in AV Alta. And that win in Lancaster required a stoppage time equalizer. Stoppage time go-ahead goal pardon for Knoxville on AV Alta last time out. That was a 2-1 win favoring Knoxville last time out. They're currently down 2-1 with Ostrom taking the flag once again for the 6th time for Modelo. In-swinger, headed out, foul Omaha. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Attempting the foot race for Rosamilia, interrupted by Coleman, so it will remain with one Knox. Brown has not played the last 3 matches due to injury. You have to look at August 17th against Naples to see him the last time in action. Take the throw. Heaving. Ricochets towards Nuhu. A nice swipe in the area off of the long throw, but Rashid Nuhu was able to collect it efficiently. As you had the cut down by Mark Doyle, a lot of his experience despite having missed 14 total matches in this season, dealing with injury 2 times so far this year. Significant amounts of experience in the USL Championship last year with the Rhode Island FC squad that made it to the championship finals from a year ago, and could potentially help a one Knox side who are looking to not only make their 2nd consecutive playoff appearance in franchise history, but also have their eyes set at a very lofty top of the table. However, with some of their opponents in the wings, they'll have to really be on their P's and Q's defensively, not just today versus Omaha, but with Charlotte and Chattanooga on the wing as well. It's Diene to serve centrally. It's interrupted by Owusu. 3 minutes of 6 in stoppage time. Sent in as Coleman got first contact and effectively will get Omaha out of their own corner. Omaha have been so good on the attacking side of things. Already 11 shot attempts in this game, especially for a team that has the most shooting attempts of anyone in the league. There was a good point where they were amongst the top of the league in XG, but amongst one of the lowest goal-scoring units. It's only been the last handful of matches that everything seems to be aligning itself once again for a team that has very much a very clear sense and identity of what they can do and what they are capable of. While they might have shaken up their roster considerably, especially on the attacking side, from their championship team in 2024, they have found a lot of pieces to come in, as Knoxville making their way in, but a tumble prevents anything further. Emilia lost his footing at the semicircle. This allows Ostrom a chance to reverse course. Ostrom streaking, 3-on-2 for Omaha, centering fee, but just out of range. It was looking for Prosper Kasim, but Sean Lewis reading it all the way through, as that will do it for the opening half of play. One from Diene on the dot, a pair from Sergio Navarro, who has been stellar, with 4 goals between the final 7 minutes of the match against Spokane and the first 15 minutes of today's match. A brace in back-to-back for Navarro puts Omaha ahead. It's been a fantastic way to start some Sunday afternoon football here in Papillion, as Union Omaha have the 2-1 lead on 1 Knoxville, as halftime presented by Courtyard by Marriott La Vista. More from the USL and League One on the other end.
Our scissors, basically it's our cutters. Basically it will cut the A post, B post in that car. Most of us already know what to do, but if we have some... Oh, to your left. Sit down. You fit right into it, bro. Drawn, go into the environment. And it's not like the movies. Everybody goes, it's just like the movies. The power's right over there. That's not true. Calm down. 3, 2, 1, fight. Wow. Nice. Nice. Cool. Nice. There you go. Natural. First hit.
We return to Warner Park, where Union Omaha have the 2-1 lead on 1 Knoxville, as our halftime is brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott La Vista. We've talked a lot about how much key acquisitions have been difference makers in the USL, as we look at some of the other top transfers and late season acquisitions from the USL present and past.
When Nick Marcanic arrived at Charleston Battery in 2023, he had no idea what his future would hold. But after a 28-goal Golden Boot regular season in 2024, Marcanic was on the radar. A 6-figure transfer to Castellón in Spain's 2nd division. A financial win for USL. One of many overseen by Oliver Wiss, USL's head of global football development and sporting director.
All around the globe,
Guys are moving all directions.
It's perfect timing. Literally a few days ago, the global transfer summer window closed. New records, $9.76 billion spent. Alone $3 billion in England spent. So USL is a very small part of it, but obviously part of my goal is to make USL a bigger part of it.
You see these things come across your desk. What are the steps to take it from that phone call to a deal happening?
Well, I think it's, first and foremost, it's negotiating a good deal, a proper transfer that is obviously a transfer fee. There is a future sell-on, which is very important, which some of our players are getting now in our clubs in the return, and then it's good incentives. So structuring a proper transfer deal is the key to a successful return of investment on player development.
Give me some of the big ones you've seen and some of the quality that's out there overseas, for instance.
I think you have to do the two records that started with the Weinman brothers, right? One going to Benfica, Josh and Elijah going to the LA Galaxy for record-breaking fees. Josh over $1 million. But then we have follow-ups like Fidel Barajas, where there was also a secondary when you moved from Charleston to RSL and then into Chivas Guadalajara, which gave a big return. We have the likes of Correa Osandina, right, that went to Feyenoord and now at Casapia. But now we just had another recent very good one with Mamadou Chang that went obviously from Hartford Athletic into went to Minnesota United. Good transfer fee, and I'm sure there will be secondary transfer fee that everyone will benefit off.
Who might be next? The rumor mills could churn for USL players at any time. And the next transfer window begins January 2026.
And Thomas Among finds the corner. He ties it up.
Sargent feeding it in front. Lexington all the way back.
What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water unique? It's our commitment to making our bottles from at least 50% recycled plastic. In fact, Crystal Geyser is the only beverage company in the U.S. to exclusively own and operate 2 plastic recycling facilities. And you can help us make an impact too by always remembering to recycle your bottles. Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Simple, but not easy.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
This just in, Union Omaha Soccer is back at Werner Park. Come out and join us for Hometown Heroes on September 6th, Pubs on the Pitch on September 17th, and Women in Sports Night on September 21st. Whether it's the heart-stopping action, delicious concessions, or your Owls, the 2024 USL League One champions electrify the pitch. You don't just watch the action, you are the action, and we can't wait to see you. One city, one club, one means all.
Returning to Werner Park, Omaha has the 2-1 lead on 1 Knoxville as halftime is brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott La Vista. And it's been a very eventful 45 minutes of play. Before we can resume play, we have to take a look at everything around the USL and League One. Well, Babacar Diene scored the first goal from the dot, but someone who has not been allowing anything to get behind him from the PK spot, Javier Garcia, the first goalkeeper in league history to save 2 PKs in a match. He has also set a new League One record with 5 PK saves in the season as one of the best rivalries in USL League One, the Peach States Derby. Tormenta take the all-time lead over their Greenville victory in the 25th edition of the head-to-head. And these new expansion teams, they've been doing stellar so far. FC Naples having an unbeaten run of 10 matches against Charlotte, currently top 4 in the standings, and possibly more teams to join them in the top 8 for the expansion sides. As we take a look back from the week ahead, we mentioned some of the hot expansion teams. Portland Hearts of Pine, most certainly one of them. The only other one that are currently above the playoff line, with not only that blistering 5-2 win against Richmond in City Stadium, but also currently leading 1-0 against, as the aforementioned FC Naples last time out. And it's been a lot of offensive games so far this match week, with the 2-2 draw with Omaha and Spokane, 5 goals between Richmond and Charlotte, and 3-goal outings both in Greenville and in Lancaster from last night as well. Well, we took a look back, now we look ahead to the remainder of match week 29 in USL League One, and the headliner is coming up after the conclusion of our match. Spokane against Chattanooga at One Spokane Stadium. Also a battle of the expansions later on tonight with Texoma FC and Westchester. Texoma trying to stay above the playoff line. Knoxville will be in business next Friday. They'll host the Charlotte Independents, the #1 offense in the league, while the Owls to take now their #1 offense in the league, as they're tied with Charlotte, into Chattanooga to take down the Den in Chattanooga, maybe opening up room for One Knoxville, potentially overtake the top seed when everything is said and done at the very end of the match week 29. 45 minutes remain here at Warner Park in a 2-1 match between Omaha and Knoxville. Highlights, stats, and the start of the second half on the other end.
So my name is Jamie Henderson, originally from Lincoln, England. I've spent the last 6 years living in Atlanta, working for Atlanta United in the front office there as an international scout. So in 2012 I went to Bellevue University as a student athlete, playing for the soccer team there for 4 years. Post-graduation I started working for Huddle in the headquarters in Lincoln, and from there I went straight into working for Atlanta United in the front office as an international scout. Worked with a lot of clubs worldwide, worked with a lot of agents worldwide, and helped build a team from the ground up almost, starting with them 2 years after their first season. Been involved in a lot of turnover at the club, been involved in a lot of player transactions, but something I really enjoyed. Atlanta United are a huge club with huge ambition, and I got the same feeling with my conversations with Alexis, with Marty, and also with Gary. You know, the ambition of everyone at this club aligned with what I believe in. It's a very similar alignment to what Atlanta United had in terms of their ambition to succeed both on and off the field, and I see this here with Union Omaha, and I'm extremely excited to be here and pass on my knowledge, but also learn from everybody around me as well, and really keep pushing to make this club one of the best in the USL. So I think right now we're looking at the table and a little bit disheartened with where we are in the table, but what we need to know is that there is so many games left to play. We've got a lot of games at home for a lot of points to be collected, and you know, I've been assessing the team, looking at the games over the last 6 weeks, and there's been some dominant performances. So if we can turn those dominant performances into points, then by the end of the season we'll be in a really good spot. I think it's important to know that there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. You're going to lose games, you're going to win games, and most of all, don't take too much notice of the table. I think we can get caught up in where the standings are, but know that 2 or 3 wins have you in the playoffs, 2-3 losses has you down past the playoff line. So just staying consistent, believing in the project, believing in each other, and I think you'll see the reward of that at the end of the season.
Returning to Papillion, Nebraska, where Union Omaha have the 2-1 lead over One Knox, as Omaha look to stay above the top 8 and Knoxville look to push their way further into the top 3, potentially overtaking Chattanooga. But before we can discuss any more potential playoff scenarios, we have to go through the opening half of play. A lot of opportunities from both sides, as both goalies were being tested right out of the gate. Sean Lewis with the initial punch out, and the follow-up by Sergio Ors Navarro, getting his 3rd goal in the 2 matches. It then follows up with a brace after a miscue from Sievert Haugli. You could argue that's 2 defensive miscues, whether if you want to fault Sean Lewis for the punch out, but regardless, it did give Navarro the chance to get the second one in. Lewis having to make another big stop off of the gate, and then second tries and third opportunities were falling in favor of Union Omaha, but a lot of the second efforts and third efforts from not just the Omaha offense, but having to race back and close things down for the Knoxville defense, which has kept this game 1 goal so far. But with about 10 minutes to go in the opening half, Max Schneider, he's been a foul magnet at points in this year. He cuts down Angelo Kelly, and that allows Babacar Diene to increase his team leading 6th goal of the regular season, including 2 against the 2 matches against Omaha. And we've talked about it a lot so far in this game, how Omaha, they are a team that a little bit different from maybe what they've done in their championship run from last year. They were more of a team that's been dominant on both sides of the pitch. However, maybe not so much on the defensive dominance, but they really turn things on offense. They're one of the teams that create the most opportunities. It leads to goals just by sheer probability. They've had more emphasis on possession over the last several weeks. Well, One Knox, you will expect to see them quite a number of times in transition, trying to get some speed down the other end of the pitch. And it has worked for them in spades. It has allowed them to not only get the penalty, but it's allowed them to get back within 1. However, if you are Union Omaha, you can threaten, you know you have this Knoxville team on the ropes, enough so that they've already had to reach into the bench for some potential answers, as you see Stavros Zarakostas inside of that huddle for One Knoxville, as Ian Fuller will be the first one to blank of the 2 head coaches as we return to the center of Warner Park for the second half of play. So we mentioned in the open there were 2 changes for Ian Fuller because of the limitations of injury. Mark Doyle and Jaheim Brown both returning from recent injuries. They will be substituted out for Stavros Zarakostas and Danny Fernandez, 2 of the better setup men on this One Knox roster. As we begin the second half of play here at Warner Park, Union Omaha will be in the black and green stripes, going from right to left in the second half, while Knoxville are in the all whites. Left to right, they will go. So we have the changes for Fernandez in the back. It's just another miscue on the attempted clearance. Scrambled back by Lewis after the block in front was made by Ors Navarro, inches away from getting a touch for a potential hat trick. And this is the pressure that Ian Fuller talked about in our meetings earlier in the week that you have to watch out for if you want to go up against a team like Omaha, because they will be very intense. They're very much in your face about a lot of things. Having to beat pressure with pressure, especially for a team that they have to be cautious of because of not only what they can do, but the extra added elements that their new components can pose. Bronick scrapping at center. Zarakostas will win the whistle. Skelton all the way to the Knoxville box, all the way to the Omaha box, as Knoxville will take it. That'll be the first opportunity. Danny Fernandez will get a touch on the ball as Johnson works top of the box. Fernandez scoops it, header, it's down, Zarakostas, the rebound is high. Zarakostas took some contact after that as well, but already Knoxville hot off of the gate as Zarakostas gave it a swing after the header was not quite there from Mikel Goling. And only a minute plus into the match, Knoxville trying to counterpunch on Union Omaha. Only 4 total shots attempted in the opening half, compared to Omaha's 11. And when you're working with only about 40% of the possession to this point of the match, you'll have to take some big swings when you do get the ball back, especially because Omaha have created a lot of turnovers off some pressure. They do so again with Prosper Kasim. Kasim's attempted center is blocked, but it's held on by Omaha. Knapp skates around defenders, held on. Kasim can't get there from Haugli, but it will draw a whistle and a yellow card again against One Knox. Already 4 yellows for One Knox. Kasim went down to ground. That will be the first yellow card of the second half, presented by Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas. And this will give another opportunity for the Owls to potentially capitalize on a free kick opportunity. We saw Ostrom take the last try, as this time you have Kasim and Schneider to operate. It is Max Schneider towards goal and couldn't quite get behind Sean Lewis, but a great try nonetheless. As Schneider, he can serve up a rocket at times, just not within the realm of frame. He had all the speed, just not quite the accuracy. As we have another change made by Ian Fuller, could be potentially for some diciness with the disciplinary report. Kempis Tequila, one of the top offensive forwards for One Knoxville, currently has the team record in total goals scored for Tequila. 13 regular season goals between his 2 seasons with One Knox. He'll replace Mikael Goling, who has been really good offensively. However, that yellow card already spilling trouble in the midfield. Turnover, Stuart Ritchie, full steam ahead, trying to get behind Ors Navarro, scrambles back with a try, Ritchie with a block. Akoff couldn't get complete contact, so it will dribble out of play. Knoxville will reclaim. Skelton around for Danny Fernandez. Kempis Tequila takes his first touch on his entry, having missed a couple of matches during the year because of injury, something that One Knox have dealt with a lot of times so far this year. But now that everyone's getting healthy, it gives Ian Fuller the full complement of tools in the box. Haugli scrambling back, 2-on-1. Ors Navarro tries to get loose, taken down, no whistle. He tripped on the ball as Haugli finishes the clearance. Knapp. Kasim has to escape. Knoxville harassing, and they'll jar it loose. Rosamilia getting around Schneider as he loosens things up for Kelly. Zarakostas to center. 3-on-3 for Knoxville. Stavros Zarakostas for Tequila. Bit of an overhit, ricochets. Ostrom got a touch. Out of play. Rosamilia got final contact, but he was offside. We go back and forth as both offenses came out of the locker room flying. Sergio Ors Navarro got around Sievert Haugli, but stepped on top of the ball, so he took a stumble. Kempis Tequila on the other end bit of contact from the defender in front, and once Rosamilia made contact, the flag from the assistant referees went up immediately. But despite the early yellow card from Sievert Haugli, already some of the plays are being let go by our officiating crew, led by Ben Meyer in the blue. AJ Franklin, Carcel Frizzell Thomas, and Jacob Larson round out the referees for today. Coleman back, longtime veteran in the MLS with both Nashville SC and Minnesota. He tries to help the escape, but it's turned over. Knoxville come on with Stavros Zarakostas. Working around to loosen Tequila. Up top, Johnson loads up and overhead. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. We've already seen some of the offensive aggression from One Knox take over in this opening 10 minutes of the second half. It's been something that was part of this overall identity shift since Ian Fuller took over the helm in this past offseason. Already a team that had a lot of the components to be defensively aggressive. However, he felt like at times Knoxville last 2 years might have been okay with just taking the points where they can get them, but they want to be on the front foot every time they step onto the pitch and take the full 3 if they can get the chance. Tequila tries to get around. He takes some contact. No whistle comes, as it might have clipped the defender before it dribbles to Rashid Nuhu. And Tequila, as we mentioned, he's making his way back into the lineup after dealing with some injuries for a good stretch of July to August where he was unavailable. As another miscue for Omaha now allows Knoxville to get back into things. Ostrom with the hand. And Knoxville have been very much the aggressors in the second half so far. Going into today, One Knoxville in the 3 seed, only 4 points back of Chattanooga at the top of the table. Union Omaha, they were tied with Avialta in the 8-9 seeds. However, Union Omaha, because of their stellar performance in the last couple of weeks, they own a tiebreaker over Antelope Valley. First one being total wins in the table. Diene Akoff, far side, tries to escape Rosamilia. Kellyan Akoff stays in front to, at the very least, slow things down. Can't find the box. Stuart Ritchie loosens up to Kelly, and a potential break as Tequila couldn't get around. You have a sliding Sam Owusu, and you have another knockdown at the circle. Zarakostas already taking a couple clips early on, and that appears to be Brandon Knapp, who is still down to grass. A bit late there from Stavros Zarakostas. He has been in the disciplinary report quite a bit also. The Greek midfielder who is taking place as one of the forwards off the substitution. He has 8 yellows on the year. While he didn't get booked that time, he most certainly can because he is a very aggressive player. He'll get at things quite a bit, especially with the overall combination of pace and power that has allowed him to really blossom into the attacker that he has become for Knoxville since coming across in the Finnish top division and in the second division of Greece over the last couple of seasons. The tendering counterattack. Omaha couldn't get through. As that's long ball cut down. Tequila widens. Rosamelia's got 2-on-2. Rosamilia enters the area. Centering. Diene saved by Nuhu. The speed of one Knox has caused problems for Omaha. But even when the defenses beat Rashid Nuhu, all the experience he has coming up huge. Closing in on 160 professional matches in the USL between his 4 games in the championship with New York Red Bulls 2 and the last 6 with Union Omaha. Anderson, Holt, and Chelo Martinez stand alongside the 4th official. Holt, he is only a week shy of his 21st birthday in his 3rd season with Union Omaha, only making his 13th appearance in this season, while Chelo Martinez, longtime veteran of the USL and League One. He's closing in on 60 total appearances after spending a long time with the USL Championship, as it will be Mark Bronick making his exit. So Anderson, Holt, one of the youngsters replacing the veteran Coleman, as it's Akoff to cross. Knocked down at center, incidental contact, says the official. They play on as Navarro keeps it in. Fernandez can't escape. And a nice turnover off the blocked pass by Callum Johnson. He'll launch it right at the center stripe. Schneider to chip it, Akoff alone. Akoff winds up, blocked by Ritchie. Everyone in Nebraska will watch that flutter out of play for the first corner kick of the second half, presented by Modelo. He's got Kasim, return to Ostrom, low driver, can't get through. Angelo Kelly with room to run. One-on-one, Akoff, the lone man back. Numbers come for Knoxville. Kelly holds. Fernandez to chip. Rosamilia near side. Rosamilia, ricochet, Chelo Martinez with the block in the clear. Taken back, Haugli loosens for Zarakostas. Zarakostas chopped down by Navarro. This will give Knoxville a potentially dangerous free kick outside of the penalty area for Omaha. Knapp at the end of the sequence not only got the contact, but the yellow card as well. Brandon Knapp in his 20th start of the 2025 season for the 24-year-old midfielder. And this allows an opportunity for Callum Johnson. Only Martinez on the wall. As everyone that is in play are within the 18-yard box. Only two short options for Knoxville. Johnson curls it. The header is well missed. Diene amongst the many in the box. And it's one of the few times that we've seen Babacar Diene and Kempis Tequila joining forces, because Tequila was out with injury, as we mentioned before, and it was one of the tools that Vincenzo Candela was really looking forward to when Tequila does get back on injury, someone who's just been looking to incrementally increase his minutes, trying to get back to full fitness. Prosper Kasim's got space. Knapp returns for Holt. Schneider trying to send Botello Foz free, but he is cut off by Skelton. Omaha with the lead. They built themselves a couple of points worth of cushion on the table, just trying to escape the 8th place slot. However, Kempis Tequila works on Schneider. Bounces, favoring Knoxville to Tequila. Diene at center. Tequila was hoping they play on, but referees will say otherwise. Bit of a discussion there with Brandon Knapp, already on a yellow card. 4-time Big East All-Conference player with St. John's University, where he was there from 2018 to 2022. Decided to finish off his degree before wrapping up his time in the NCAA and making his way to the pros after graduating, as Lawrence Wooton will make his way into the match, replacing the 2023 League One second-team wingback in Diene Akoff. And it's actually Akoff or Wooton who actually predominantly plays a bit more of a midfield presence. Could be seeing a potential back three here for Vincenzo Candela, especially for a team that wants to maybe create a little more offense potentially, with momentum shifting Knoxville's way. Wooton has the ability to make things work on both ends of the pitch. As a 2023 All-American with Ohio State University, where he was a four-time first-team Big Ten with the Buckeyes. Clipped into the area, but no one in the vicinity. Abel Caputo and Gio Colextro are on deck, and with the throw-in, this is where Ian Fuller will make the change. They'll take the yellow card from Callum Johnson towards the bench and allow some more offensive opportunities for Gio Colextro. For Caputo, he was suspended against Avialta after taking 2 yellow cards the week before against South Georgia Tormenta. 3 years in USL League One. Between the last 2 with Lexington and Knoxville, and his first season back in 2021 with Fort Lauderdale United, now Inter Miami 2. And then for Calixtro, third-year veteran forward for One Knox. Knoxville trying to spring Diene free, but Owusu's first. Since the halftime break, Omaha have reached into the bench for 3 of their subs. That's already been in the last 10 minutes. Knoxville have burned through all 5 of their changes since the halftime break came. Holt being one of those changes, Ostrom one of the starters. As Schneider and Wooton try to look for some space and opportunity. Prosper Kasim skies it for Ostrom. And Ostrom lost control. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XMFC at 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights, plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XMFC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Looking for Diene, not quite there. Omaha will whip it out of play for a Knoxville throw. Another turnover for Omaha. Now they've loosened up for a 2-on-1. Chelo Martinez, now a 3-on-1. Martinez towards goal and slowly towards Sean Lewis. With Portland Hearts of Pine taking the lead on Naples right before the halftime break. It would put Knoxville remaining in the top 3 and potentially putting Omaha in the top 6, potentially jumping Charlotte if all things go well. And Martinez had help coming with Ors Navarro and Botello Foz, but he wanted to give it a go himself. Kempis Tequila up the gut, lays it back, distance try from Diene, he scores! Diene doubles down as he's got 2, and we're tied with 20 minutes remaining in regulation. What a strike from Babacar Diene, going low corner on Rashid Nuhu. The assistance from Kempis Tequila, and this has been a combination Ian Fuller has been frothing at the mouth to see in its full force. The aggressive, stingy, defensive opportunities that they've had, and the opportunity to see the roles that these guys can do, the rotation of them to really exploit the maximum offensive potential of this team, has been something that has been missing from One Knox in their last 2 years, has been a new element of theirs this year, and it's one of the reasons that they have not only been able to find ways to get results, but to even find points from behind. Down 2-0, 2-all, we sit in the 72nd as the goals were presented by Herdot Sports Bar. Although Kempis Tequila is still a ways away from full fitness, just getting more minutes on the day, having the opportunity to work with his teammates, getting the assist on that second Diene goal. It's loose. Richie is there first, as that was dangerous for Knoxville. As we go brace for brace here in Omaha, Babacar Diene in the final 10 minutes of the first half from the dot. And again in the 72nd minute with the assist from Kempis Tequila. Sergio Orr's Navarro doubled right out of the gate in the first 15 minutes. And now we have a brand new ball game in the final 17 minutes. Stavros Zaracosta sprinting ahead. He's got options, looking for Diene, cut off, Owusu the sweep. Only as far as Richie. Lofting for Kelly. Kelly's got Calixtro behind, but he hangs on. Pivots around Knapp. Goal kick for Rashid Nuhu when that's all said and done. For a team that has very much struggled to score goals, they're just finding any sort of help and reinforcement they can to create more offensive opportunities, especially because of something that it's been a struggle for them all year long, especially when they've had a lot of really tough stretches, whether if it's the beginning of the season with 5 consecutive on the road, or even dealing with a whole slew of playoff teams to round out their schedule. But these type of battles for One Knox is something that Ian Fuller has asked his guys to fully embrace, and he has really been impressed by the overall consistency of the results. Even if the results maybe don't follow, the overall consistency and the game-over-game improvements of the performance have been one of the great pleasures that Ian Fuller has seen so far this year from his side. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Knoxville already above the line with a healthy cushion of 10 points so far if you include this match. Trying to make it back-to-back playoff appearances for Knoxville. For Omaha, they could be the first team to go 6 for 6, as that's friendly fire from Fernandez and Kelly, and that's a freebie corner kick to Omaha off of Knoxville. Second Modelo corner of the half. Ostrom again at the flag. Slight wind going towards the far side as Ostrom will curl it. Cut off by Knoxville. Wutan with a long try, but got blocked. Return to Ostrom. Curls it, ricochets, contact in the box against Omaha. And with the stoppage, this could potentially bring the next set of changes for Coach Candela. It will, with 2 of their more dynamic options, especially on the attacking side with Stefano Pino and Ryan Betcher on the entry, with Kasim and Botello Foz, who are going to be done for the night. 77 minutes in. For Pino, so much experience, has only been a part of the roster for about 2 months, but over 100 goals in his pro career, both overseas and within the American soccer landscape in both the MLS and the USL. Ryan Betcher been on loan for 3 months with this club from St. Louis City 2, having that wealth of experience in Next Pro, but has really taken off since coming to Union Omaha, has been downright dominant in USL League One, despite even missing a couple matches at the beginning of September with an injury himself. Zarkostas escapes the double team. He tripped on the ball, and this is a yellow card coming up. You had Wooton and Anderson Holt both involved in the entanglement with Zarkostas at the center circle. This actually looks more like an incidental contact, if anything, just getting the legs all tangled up. Wooton is the one who got the yellow when that's all said and done. Dozen minutes remain in regulation. This gives Kempis Tequila a very long free kick to work with. You're looking at maybe 35 meters from goal. Tequila scoops it into the hands of Rashid Nuhu. Nuhu been leading an Omaha squad that have essentially been playing their playoffs ever since the beginning of August when they were towards the bottom of the table. They've continuously scratched and clawed their way out since June 7th when they were dead last in the league, and have only been able to round out performance after performance since. You had the change up between Dominic Casciato's promotion to the USL Championship with Tampa in that mix as well, and the changeover to Vincenzo Candela since July 12th. And they've just had hot run after hot run in the Candela era, including 5 straight unbeaten so far for Omaha. Richie rolls it. Calixtro. Fouled against Knoxville. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports, Golazo Network, and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Also, with those final 2 changes that were committed just a few minutes ago by Omaha, those are their 4th and 5th. Distance try attempted, Ors Navarro barricaded. Distance try again is into the hands of Lewis. We mentioned it at the beginning of the game. Omaha will take their chances anywhere they can find them. And the confidence of just guys willing to take opportunities from any point of the pitch has been one of the more impressive parts of this offensive resurgence for Omaha. The overall versatility, how many guys they have that can make plays, that can contribute. And you haven't seen maybe those 1 or 2 offensively dominant players at all this year. Ryan Betcher might be your only counter argument because of how hot he's been since being on loan, but aside from that, you have a lot of guys scoring by committee. No one really breaking into the top 10 of goal scoring. Have a lot of guys who have chipped in and contributed throughout the season. And a part of this recent 5-game run, they've scored multiple goals across all of them. That even includes a 4-goal outing against the Charlotte Independents and a 5-goal outing against Texoma at the beginning of the month. Turnover, Zarkostas cannot get to Betcher, a takedown, and Wooton has to be careful. He's already on a yellow. Is it a foul or is it a card? It is only a foul. Wooton was already on a yellow card, but he does not get the second, only the stoppage. And Kempis Tequila will take another deep service as we are under 10 minutes remaining. The sliding attempt by Zarkostas. Wooton was just a touch late. It is Tequila, and it's right to Rashid Nuhu once more. Cycle for Omaha to Charlie Ostrom. Omaha having a tough task ahead of them because they're playing essentially every team they're trying to catch for the remainder of the schedule. That goes off a defender. Diene's running free. He's got two, and great hustle by Owusu to jar it loose. And this will give Knoxville the first corner of the match. The attempted pass went off of a Knoxville player, and that allowed Diene to get all sorts of running room. Someone that the Pittsburgh Riverhound staff really credited for his ability to finish and utilize his speed. One of the reasons why he was brought over to this one Knox side. While he didn't score, he does give Kempis Tequila the first Modelo corner kick for Knoxville in this match. Low service, headed away. Zarkosas is back. Attempted service and only Nuhu in the area. As we cross 5 minutes here at Werner Park. While we highlighted the 1-2 match later tonight between Chattanooga and Spokane, the Red Wolves will see both of these two on the next games after that. Omaha will go to Chattanooga next week, and One Knox will be there the week after. However, for Omaha, they only have 2 road games of these final 7. One of them is next week against Chattanooga in Tennessee. One Knox will see them on October 1st, but they'll be back at Covenant Health Park in Knoxville. Both teams very backloaded home schedules because of their respective stadium issues. With Knoxville, they were constructing Covenant Health Park, and now they've got 5 of the last 6. For Omaha, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but they've been very dominant at home all year long. And if you include today's game, that puts them at 6 of 7 at home. 5 of 7, pardon. Last clipped out of play, Brandon Knapp to launch. Betcher holds on for Schneider. Deep service, Brandon Knapp. Tries to get Martinez free, into the area, centering feed. Loose in the box, cut up by Knoxville, still in play. Betcher settles for Wutan. Cello Martinez, service in, out of play, off of a Knoxville defender, another Omaha corner. Modelo corner kick, number 9 for Union Omaha in today's game. Knoxville only have 1 corner in the entire match. That service pretty much doesn't come off at all because of a Omaha foul. We mentioned Omaha's next game on the road against Chattanooga. They have 2 more back here at Werner Park right after against 2 of the teams that are above them in the standings, between the expansion side, Portland Hearts of Pine, and Naples, as this is going to be held on by Nuhu. Had to get in front with Zarkosas, trying to get the ball after winning the race on Holt. incidental contact, nothing really malicious there, as everyone was going towards the ball, and it looked like Zarakozas' momentum accidentally knocked him into Nuhu. And they want him to have a quick examination, it looks like, because it was Nuhu's elbow to Zarakozas' side of the head, and a abrasion on Zarakozas as well. The only other time that Knoxville have to go on the road is this match and at the beginning of October on the 4th, where they have to go to City Stadium against the Richmond Kickers. The other 5 matches from here on out for Knoxville will be at home, where they have been flat out dominant. Points in all 9 of their home matches, 5 of those being wins. If any 2 teams could potentially threaten that, maybe a revitalized Charlotte Independence team that got their first win in a long time against Richmond last time out, and Chattanooga Red Wolves currently top of the table, and that could be a potential game to determine who is number 1. Betcher with the touch for Martinez. No one to complete the pass, so Kelly tries to escape on Betcher. Caputo. End to end, Fernandez with the hustle. But he lost it. Sergio Ors Navarro with space. He cuts it centrally. Schneider makes Kelly miss. Knapp curls it, settled. Betcher out of reach. And Caputo with the cleanup. Zarakozas rather, as he almost got a feed off. 4 extra minutes in the second half of play. Currently, not only are these two tied at 2, but also not a whole lot of movement in the standings for either side. The good news for Omaha, because of some of the tiebreakers that they have, they would at the very least overtake South Georgia Tormenta to be number 7. Tormenta would drop to the 8 if the result holds at a tie. Knoxville would only have a 4-point cushion into the top 4 to host a match, while being 3 points trailing of Chattanooga to be the number 1 overall seed. And with some of the gaining comfortability that Knoxville have had at home, and even some of the results that they've had of recent, there are opportunities, especially against the Chattanooga side that they lost to earlier in the year. Kelly with the takeaway, and can't set anyone up. Betcher out of a jumble. Ostred centers, settled, Ors Navarro can't get it through. Rebound, Wutan, Betcher fires, blocked. Two golden opportunities inside of the Knoxville penalty area for Omaha to potentially overtake the lead. If they do, they could jump the Charlotte Independents, who sit at 6th. If the result holds, Omaha are 7th, but only a tiebreaker ahead of South Georgia Tormenta at 8. Portland have wrapped up against Naples with a 1-0 win. So this puts Portland Hearts of Pine in the 5 slot. And it could potentially see things stand pat if no one can get through. Lawrence Wooton tries to gallop ahead, but Knoxville doing a good job staying under defensive assignments with Charlie Ostrom. Retreats to Nuhu, maybe to open up some room in the final minute of stoppage. Header forward, Ors Navarro, centering feed, no one on the other end. Too high for anyone to get it. Knoxville going deep, but too high for Diene, and Nuhu will collect once more. It was 1-0 the last time these two met. It was the first time Knoxville beat Omaha. They have not tied since the first match against each other, ever, back in 2023. But Omaha might have something to say about that. Charlie Ostrom, partial flub, blocked by Fernandez. An exhilarating, exhausting, but a fitting way to end this match. Tied at 2 as Vincenzo Candela and Ian Fuller both will take another tally in the unbeaten run for Knoxville. Points in 4 of 5 for Omaha, unbeaten in 6 straight. Sergio Ors Navarro has been stellar today, coming off of a brace against Spokane. Gets a brace again today to set up One Knox, as our man of the match is presented by Platinum Chiropractic. And he has been so good for One Knox, continuously climbing his way up. 5 goals on the season in 10 starts with Union Omaha. Tonight's final score is presented by the Blackstone District. It is 2-all when it was all said and done. More from around the USL, more from Omaha when we come back from the break.
Wow. Back center, right guard. Damn, right guard, bro.
No, it's me. Nice. Exactly. Looks like me. Not in the slot. X in the slot's wide open. Oh yeah, Jensen. Oh yeah, Jensen. Oh,
Returning here to Omaha, where Union Omaha and One Knoxville held off each other for a 2-all draw. Despite plenty of opportunities to potentially go ahead, none broke through. As we go through our full-time highlights here in Werner Park, and things were hot right out of the gate. The first shot by Prosper Kasim, but the follow-up by Sergio Ors Navarro would find the back of the net in the 6th minute. Between the last match against Spokane and this match against One Knoxville, it's 2 goals in very quick succession, a combined 22 minutes between the end of regulation, the Spokane stoppage time, and the beginning of this match. 4 goals, back-to-back braces for Ors Navarro, putting him at 5 goals on the season. However, One Knox, when it seemed like Omaha had a bit of a stranglehold on this game. Max Schneider will concede the penalty towards Angelo Kelly, and Diene says no doubt about it in the 36th minute, just before the end of the first half. However, things would not end there, because with about 20 minutes to go in regulation, Campus Tequila finds Diene, letting it roll from outside of the area to beat Rashid Nuhu, bottom corner, to tie the game at 2-all, to go brace for brace. As our full-time stats are presented by Pepsi, there's been a lot of opportunities for both sides, really noting how efficient both teams were when they had the ball. Yes, Omaha had a vast majority of possession, but just the amount of opportunities they had between the shots, the converted shots on target, the corners that they had. For Knoxville, all of their threat was in the run of play, very efficient on the counterattack. 9 shot attempts, 5 on target, and 2 is just about what you want if you're a team like One Knox, especially when you prioritize the counterattack. As we go back to our post-game standings, brought to you by Teriyaki Madness, not a whole lot of movement. As we mentioned in the broadcast, Omaha will jump Tormenta. They will no longer be the last team in, but plenty of opportunity for both sides. Knoxville will have to go up against Charlotte and Chattanooga up next, with a 3-point buffer between Chattanooga and Knoxville. Those next 2 games could be substantial in Knoxville's quest for the #1 seed. As for Union Omaha, they have a chance to not only go into Chattanooga, but also against Portland Hearts of Pine later on, to maybe get themselves into a top 5 slot, increasing their buffer from that top 8 cutoff in the USL League One after match week 29. It's been a fun and exciting one on a Sunday afternoon here at Werner Park. Lots of goals, lots of opportunity, and lots of drama here in the 90 minutes played for our entire USL League One crew on ESPN Plus, making their way out of Werner Park. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ryan Lee. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.